Welcome to the Open Mind Show. I'm your host, Zachary. Let's get this show on the road. You are now listening to the Open Mind Show, the show that gives you endless entertainment, nice, relaxing entertainment, so you don't have to stress out anymore. Enjoy the show. Wow, this is amazing. I cannot tell you how much I love this, how much I feel for this show. And I know it's the first episode, and you're like, what the hell is the show about? Well, the show's about just hanging out and just talking about things that are on your mind, what's happening. Especially things that I definitely want to talk about are things that involving, your brain, your mind, but also things, I definitely want to be able to be at a spot where I can bring in celebrities and music artists or, YouTubers, for an example, and just have them come in and, we have a sit and chat maybe for an hour or two, talk about their lives and what they do and, their personal lives, but also how they feel mentally, how they feel on a day-to-day basis, what they do for a living, whether it be, a pop star, a YouTuber, a doctor, a freaking whatever it may be. You could be a porn star for all I give a shit. Oh, by the way, I do want to put a fair disclaimer that this show is not made for kids. But, if you're a parent and allow your kids to listen to satire, things like this, good on y'all. But anyways, so the idea of this podcast is to be able to just have this place, a safe place kind of, basically, where people can come and listen and relax and de-stress and be able to talk, not talk, but be able to listen to, either me ranting about something or just me talking, things about like mental health, dreams, sleep paralysis episodes, stuff like that, or talk about how beautiful Ariana Grande's voice is, because goddamn, that voice is perfect. I'm just saying that right now. Now, today's episode, I did want to kind of orientate around podcasting and the idea of podcasting and, how this all began and how everything started. And, I just definitely want to talk about me a little bit more as well. And I'm pretty sure, you guys want to know your host a little bit as well. So, I am a YouTuber. I originally started on YouTube. I started making videos. Then I kind of started live streaming. And then right now where I'm at right now is I am doing YouTube. I have an apparel company, and now I have this podcast. So that to me, that feels a good set of things to do, especially since I am a high school dropout. I did fuck up my life a lot, I think, by doing that. By dropping out of high school, I feel like I've really just fucked up my life big time. And 3 years ago, when I did drop out of high school, I didn't see it as that. I had this plan in mind. I had everything set up, and that kind of fell through as I got lazy and, depressed and anxious. And, I was recently diagnosed with anxiety and depression and PTSD. So I think those things over the past 3 years have really limited me on what I was doing and things like that. So from dropping out of high school, I would stay at home every day, watch YouTube, do nothing basically with my life, lay in bed and do absolutely nothing. So I said, you know what, I'm going to start doing things. I started making YouTube videos, I started streaming, and I started doing all these, crazy things, right? So who I am, who am I? Who am I? My name is Zachary, and I am a content creator for YouTube and Twitch. I also own a apparel company called Apparel 27. You can go to that at apparel27.com. Buy yourself some nice, unique clothing. And also, I consider myself an entrepreneur because I am very motivating to myself, a lot of family members around me, a lot of my friends around me. I'm just that motivating person who motivates a lot of people to do better and, better their lives and stuff like that. And I can stand for that because my brother's girlfriend, I was really helping them out, trying to get their life back together and back on track and things like that. So I'm an entrepreneur technically, I like to think at least, And that's it, really. Like, I'm not that special. I created the show because I had this idea in my head of like a radio talk show. Now, if you guys don't know, podcasting services suck dick. They really suck dick. Because if I have to pay $30 to upload a goddamn podcast every week, or, whatever it is, may be, every like 3 days or whatever, because we'll get into that. I don't want to have to spend money. You know what I'm saying? Like, when I've got YouTube and SoundCloud that are virtually pretty much free. Like, why would I spend $30 or even maybe even $199 in some cases for the year to upload a podcast? Like, no. Like, you see where I'm going with this here? Like, I really just want to bring a show where people can like relax to, or drive around to. You know what I'm saying? Like, listen to like me talk or ramble about random bullshit that's happening in this world. You know what I'm saying? I was just recently watching the carpool video with Ariana Grande, and I was thinking about this, the podcast, making a podcast, and that's when I came up with the open mind show, because like my mind is open to talk. I love talking. I love just ranting on about random things. Fun fact, 2.2 million people in the U.S. are millionaires. Things like that. Just like random things. Like, I just love talking. So I came up with this idea. And by the way, listening to Ariana Grande's voice is like heaven. It's like I'm floating on a cloud, like on cloud 9 type level. And that's when I came up with the idea of the Open Mind Show, because of her voice and just like, thinking that cloud 9 type vibe, you know what I'm saying, where you can just relax and just enjoy the show, whether I'm talking about fucking a beaver, or eating Justin Bieber's underwear, or talking about something serious like mental health or sleep paralysis, night terrors, nightmares, and what causes these things. That's why I really enjoyed the name of the podcast, because it's open, right? It's open for discussion. At some point, I'm going to be able to give you guys an email, right, where you guys can send me questions or even stories to tell on the podcast, and I'll do it, right? Like, I want to be able to provide you guys the best show I can provide you guys. Kind of like how Delilah does on the radio. Like, I absolutely love her show. She's, like, an inspiration to me, because her show is just, like, mind-boggling. It's amazing. I love hearing people's stories. I love hearing that type of thing, right? But then there's also the other side of me that loves hearing things about like famous people, and that's when I get into the the podcast by Josh Peck there that's called Curious, because like I'm curious about people's lives and what they do, and who they were, and what they are now, and things like that. Things like those things really intrigue me. Now, yes, that I sound like I'm copying like several other podcasts, but I'm not, because like at the same time I'm original, I'm different, I'm coming up with new ideas, new ways to interview people and stuff like that, and not just saying like, hey, come on my show, I'm gonna ask you a few questions and then you can fuck off. Like, no, like I want to get in deep, and I mean by in deep, we're gonna use Ariana Grande for an example again, because just over a little less than a year ago, she had a bombing at one of her concerts, right? And I just want to know. I'm curious. What is the PTSD like for her? What is what's going on in her mental state? I want to know that about people. Like, I want to know where they are at mentally, where they are at physically, and things like that, because I'm just a curious person, to be honest with you. And I want to see what it's like in the mind of a famous person, whether they suffer from chronic diseases like anxiety, depression, whatever, or if they're, getting to that point where they're getting to that, like, low part of their life where they want to, where they feel depressed, they feel down all the time, they want to take their life, but things like that. And yes, I know the things that I'm saying are very, controversial topics, very harsh topics, and that's why I say that my show is not made for kids. I mean, yes, it can be made for teens and adults, but like I don't want to. Like, another thing too is I don't want to be constricted by the goddamn fucking media. I'm going to say what's on my mind and say it proud. I'm tired of seeing censorship everywhere you turn around. YouTube's doing it. Twitch is doing it. The media, television's doing it. Everyone's doing it. Why? Like, I don't want to be censored. I don't give a shit if I don't make money off this podcast. I don't care. Like, I just want to be able to talk what's on my mind and have you guys listen. Or, you know, have you guys come to me for advice and I tell it on the show. Where, you know, tell stories and things like that. You know what I'm saying? I just hate that everywhere you turn around in today's world, there's censorship. No matter where you turn, there's censorship. And I got way off topic, way off topic. So let's get back on the topic of the podcast. So we did talk about how it originally started. Now, this podcast, like I said, is going to be open-minded. I'm going to say whatever the fuck I want, do whatever the fuck I want. I don't care, okay? This is just for the fucking internet to enjoy, meme, whatever the hell you want to do with it. Just, you know, or relax, listen to it, listen to me rant, talk, whatever. So I came up with this idea. And I pushed it. I created it as fast as I could. So that way I can get all the social medias for it. I can get everything for it. Like, everything. I mean, the ads and everything. Like, I wanted this. I want this show to be successful. So, and if it comes down to the media censoring me, then it comes down to that, right? Because I just want to be able to talk to people. Like, preach, right? It's kind of like preaching, basically. But, like, in a different way. So, let's see. Whew, there's a lot. There's a lot to talk about, and that's what I love about me, is that I'm always finding something to talk about, and, you know, trying to keep the conversation, like, up and going. So, like, I saw this whole thing with Ariana Grande, whatever, right? And so I created this show, and yes, there is an upload schedule. Gonna upload every Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So you guys get 3 episodes a week, which is more than enough, to be honest. A lot of podcasts upload 1 episode a week. So you're blessed. You get to hear my voice 3 times a week. So with that being said, I just think that this podcast is going to be it's not a podcast, it's a show. I keep referring it to a podcast because, like, in my mind, it is a podcast. But at the same time, it's a show because it is on YouTube. So, if YouTube can roll out a podcasting feature where it's not just like a video, where you can just upload a podcast simply, that would be A-okay. It would be perfect. And I mean perfect. But, YouTube is stuck up, so, they're not going to do it. Anyway, so, I just lost my train of thought. So, the podcast, I do want to be very open, but I also want to hear from people what they have to say about certain topics, depression, anxiety, things like that, because the media doesn't talk about it enough. There's not enough, shined light on it, because, a lot of people die from suicide every year, but why? Why? Understanding these illnesses is a big part of me, because I do suffer from them for myself, so I want to understand it and why it happens and things like that. And obviously there is science research and behind all of it, but I don't care about the science. I just care about making people happy, and if you're depressed, I will come hug you. You know what I'm saying? Just being there for somebody who's in that state of mind is probably the best thing you can do, right? Because sometimes trying to talk them out of it is what makes them worse. So if I can just have this podcast be a way of talking to those people and helping those people, I'm all for it. This is the idea that I had in my head. I had this idea of the show where people could tune in every other day of the week on the weekdays, obviously Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, because Saturday and Sunday doesn't count, but those days, right, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, where people can tune in and just forget about what's going on, or just relax for a little while and not have to deal with whatever they're going through in life. Say if they're going through a financial crisis or some sort of crisis, or they just lost a family member and things like that. The idea is to be able to, how do I say it, not distract them from that, but pull them away enough to let them relax and get some sort of peace of mind, and try to you know, figure things out in a proper manner, right? So this is gonna be a lot of crazy, episodes on this podcast. Trust me, there's gonna be things like sex, drugs. We'll talk about a lot of crazy things, but we'll also talk about very real things. Things like suicide, things like depression, anxiety, PTSD. A lot of these things that go untalked about, and I just think that they're very important to talk about. But back onto the topic of podcasting. So the idea of podcasting, and I just love how I shift it because I'm a freaking genius. All right, I'm an absolute genius. Anyway, so podcasting is sometimes just the pain in the fucking ass. It really is. And I'm not just saying to record podcasts. That's the easy part. You just sit here and talk into the microphone all day, all night long. It is currently nighttime for me. When I'm recording this. So, but some podcasting services suck. Like I said, you have to pay for them, and then it's just why? Why are you gonna make me pay for this when I can just upload this to YouTube and boom, have it out in I don't know. Well, it really it does depend on your internet too, because if you are just uploading a video file, for instance, this podcast, if you're watching this on YouTube, obviously, but if you're listening to on SoundCloud, this wouldn't matter. But if you are listening to on YouTube, you're gonna notice that this podcast is in 4K resolution. So obviously, YouTube it's gonna be a large file. It's going to be a very, very large file. So it might take 1 to 2 hours, and I'm okay with that. But what also does bug me is that I have to render it as a video. So if you guys don't know what that means, my computer has to render a 4K video, especially if it's 30 to 40 minutes long. It's probably going to be a couple of days. Probably. Actually, no, I've got a pretty good computer, I think, to be able to handle this. But podcasting, this is the life of a podcaster, but also a content creator. And I think that's what's gonna go really well with this, is that I'm a content creator. I'm a YouTuber. I play games for a living. I will leave all my everything in the description. My clothing line, my YouTube channel, my Twitch, everything. That will be in every single description of the show. So if you do ever want to, maybe check me out on my other avenues, you're more than welcome to check me out on my other avenues. But if you just want to kind of listen to the show and, tune into the show, that's fine. I'm okay with that. You don't have to follow me on my other adventures, my other, journeys. But maybe you want to just follow this journey. So I'm okay with that. Like I said, this is going to be either a hit or miss, because the last time I tried to create a podcast, it didn't go so well. Let's just say that I actually did have another podcast called The Illogical Show. I canceled it. I just shut it down because it just wasn't coming out the way I wanted it to come out. So I just ended up putting it on a hold for now. Well, for now, meaning forever, because it's canceled. I'm done. I'm not recording for that show anymore. I've come up with this show, which this show is going to be the best show ever. I don't care. Make sure you subscribe. Just subscribe, because there's going to be some lit stuff coming. And I can't confirm, but I'm going to try to get Ariana Grande on this goddamn show. Because, like I said, I am just interested in a lot of things about people. And that's what's kind of bad about me, in a way. Anyways, getting distracted. Anyway, so, the podcast. This is the life of a podcaster, basically. It sounds like I'm, making a vlog channel or something. Why? But the idea of being able to just have kind of a radio, it's to me it's like a radio show. I'm just talking and talking about stuff. A lot of radio shows don't just talk about stuff. There is music and stuff as well, but if you have a radio show kind of like this, it's kind of like a podcast. Basically, that's what a podcast is. But wow, there's just a lot to talk about, and I have so many ideas, and it's just gonna be fun. So if you guys want to join us or join me on this adventure, on this crazy show, I would advise you guys to hit subscribe, follow us on our social medias. Those will be down in the description. Also, if you're listening to this on SoundCloud, to find those informations, you might have to look in I think the audio description or something. I don't know how SoundCloud works. I'll figure it out. But podcasting, this is going to be the best show you guys are going to ever hear. Just kidding. I'm not a narcissist. Or is that what a narcissist is? I have no idea, and I can't even say that word, so I'm just going to stop trying to say that word. Podcasting. I don't know if I forgot anything. I feel like I forgot something that like I wanted to say or something. And that's like the beauty of this. This is gonna be natural. This is gonna be raw. I'm gonna try to do as many or as less cuts as possible, so that way it's like natural. It's fluent. It's amazing. So yeah, the next episode I'm probably gonna make. I don't know what I'm gonna talk about. We'll figure it out. Kind of go day by day, figure it out. But till next time, this has been the Open Mind Show. I will see you guys in the next one. Make sure to hit that subscribe button because it's like subscribing to a podcast. I love you all. Have a good rest of your day or night. Peace.